They say a man is either born free or born into chains. But the truth is, most of us are born into neither. We're born with nothing but potential, and it's discipline that decides which direction we go. Not motivation, not luck, not talent. Discipline. That quiet, ruthless fire that no one applauds and few understand. We live in a world addicted to shortcuts, a society that worships the quick fix, the weekend detox, the 5-minute miracle. But when the applause fades and the curtain drops, the only thing that stands between who you are and who you want to become is what you choose to do when nobody's watching. Discipline is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not what you post on Instagram. It's what you do at 4 a.m. when the alarm rings and your body screams, "Stay in bed," but your purpose whispers louder. This is the difference between a life that demands vacations and a life you don't need to run away from. Ask Thomas Edison. He failed 10,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. But he didn't call them failures, he called them steps. He didn't have magic, he had discipline. Ask Abraham Lincoln. He lost election after election, went bankrupt, watched his sweetheart die, fell into depression so deep it nearly consumed him. But he stood back up, again and again. Not because it was easy, but because he knew that freedom isn't given. It's earned, hour by hour, decision by decision. And that is the truth they never teach you in school. That the freedom you crave, the peace you envy in others, the confidence you think they're born with, it's not handed down. It's carved from discomfort. It's bled out of sweat. It's built in silence. And it starts with a single word: discipline. Because discipline is the bridge between vision and reality, between hope and result, between dream and empire. Every day, you are faced with a war, not out there but in here. A war between the man you are and the man you could be. A war between excuses and execution, between comfort and growth. The battlefield is your mind, and your greatest enemy, convenience. We've been lied to, told that passion is enough, that if you love it, you'll stick to it. But passion fades, motivation burns out. The fire dies unless you learn to build the muscle that outlasts all storms, the muscle of doing it anyway. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. It's sticking to the plan when every cell in your body is screaming to stop. It's the quiet strength of the man who keeps walking when there's no finish line in sight. Not for applause, not for validation, but because he made a promise to himself. Think of Henry Ford. At a time when horses ruled the streets and the world laughed at the idea of machines replacing them, he didn't wait for permission. He didn't check to see if the odds were in his favor. He stayed up night after night, refining his designs, driven by discipline and vision, not because it was comfortable, because it was necessary. You want to change your life? Then fall in love with boredom, master repetition, worship consistency, because every empire is built on bricks you lay when no one's clapping. Every legacy starts in the dark, not the spotlight. Clarity is power, but discipline is the weapon that makes that power real. You say you want peace, but you check your phone before you check your goals. You say you want success, but every time it hurts, you bail. Understand this: desire without discipline is a fantasy, a mirage, a sugar-coated dream designed to sedate you. Success is not born in inspiration. It's born in repetition. It's born in the meal prep when you want takeout, in the extra hour of study when your friends are drinking, in the yes to purpose, and the no to comfort again and again and again. Unbreakable discipline isn't just about effort, it's about identity. It's about deciding that you are no longer available for your old excuses. That the version of you who procrastinates, avoids, delays, distracts, that man is done. Dead, buried. And what rises in his place is someone who keeps their word, especially when it's hard. You don't need to escape your life when your life is aligned with who you truly are. Look at Walt Disney, fired for lacking imagination, bankrupt more than once, laughed out of rooms by people with no vision. But what did he do? He stayed the course. He bet on himself over and over because he knew that what he saw in his mind mattered more than what the world told him was possible. That is the kind of discipline that moves mountains. So stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect plan. Discipline begins the moment you stop negotiating with your lesser self. Most people will never feel true freedom not because it's impossible, but because they're addicted to escaping the lives they built by default. They spend money they don't have on distractions they don't need to avoid facing a reality they never chose. But the moment you take full ownership, the second you stop blaming the world, your parents, your boss, your partner, your past, that's the moment you become powerful. That's the moment your discipline becomes a revolution, not just a habit, a declaration. I will not abandon myself anymore. I will show up for my dreams like they already belong to me. I will build a life that reflects who I am, not who the world told me to be. You think discipline is about saying no to the wrong things, but really, it's about saying yes to the right ones. Every day, without fail, with full conviction, until they become who you are. Because success is not a lottery. Greatness is not an accident. It is the compounded interest of thousands of disciplined decisions, each one a silent vote for the person you're becoming. And eventually, the world catches up. Eventually, the world starts to reflect the fire you've been feeding in private. The world bends to the will of the man who refuses to be broken. It does not hand over glory, it yields to the one who outlasts resistance, who bleeds consistency, who walks forward long after the crowd has gone home. And here's the twist most people miss. Discipline doesn't shrink your freedom. It creates it. Because when your habits are aligned with your purpose, when your actions echo your highest values, when you no longer betray your potential for momentary comfort, then life no longer feels like a prison. It becomes a cathedral. Every stone you lay, every routine you repeat, every early morning and every ignored temptation becomes part of something sacred, a life worth waking up to. You stop living for the weekend. You stop craving distractions. You no longer need to escape your reality because you're crafting one that inspires you. That's why you train when it's hard. That's why you say no to the easy way. That's why you choose the path of most resistance, because you are not interested in average. You are not here to blend in. You are here to carve your name into the side of the mountain and say, I was here and I made this count. Steve Jobs once said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. But crazy means nothing without discipline. Dreams are hallucinations until you act on them. It's not enough to want greatness. You have to embody it, show up for it, fight for it, suffer for it. Because the truth is, comfort will always lie to you. It will whisper sweet things, promise safety, offer numbness, but it will steal your fire while you sleep. Discipline, though? Discipline demands your blood, but gives you back your soul. There will be days you question everything, days when doubt slithers in like smoke under the door, days when the weight feels unbearable, when your knees shake, when your heart screams that it's had enough. Good. Let those days come, and let them forge you. Because pressure makes diamonds, yes, but more than that. It reveals who never wanted to be coal in the first place. You weren't born for easy. You were born for meaning, and meaning is heavy. Meaning takes muscle. So build it, in silence, in repetition, in the quiet mornings, when your only companion is your breath and your reason. Build it like a soldier trains, not for the battle he hopes for, but for the one he cannot yet see. Build it like an architect, brick by intentional brick. Build it like your life depends on it, because it does. And when others ask why you're so serious, why you're so focused, why you walk differently, speak differently, plan differently, tell them the truth. Because you are done living like you're not on fire inside. There is a greatness in you that terrifies the part of you still chained to the old life. But listen closely, that part must die. The version of you who settles, who delays, who starts next Monday, he must be buried beneath the new code you write with every action. And in his place rises a force that no failure can deter, no opinion can weaken, and no excuse can survive. You don't need more time, you don't need more luck. You need to decide that this life will not be built by chance, but by conviction. And conviction, when paired with discipline, becomes a force of nature. Look back through history. Those who moved the world did not wait to be ready. They acted in the dark. They sharpened their blades in the silence. They walked alone, misunderstood, mocked until the results silenced the laughter. Nikola Tesla, alone, broke, obsessed, but undistracted. Michael Jordan cut from his high school team, but he didn't cry. He trained, he disciplined himself into a legend. Oprah Winfrey told she wasn't fit for television. Now she owns the network. Different paths, same secret. Unbreakable discipline. You want confidence? Then become the kind of person you can count on. You want peace? Then stop negotiating your potential for crumbs of comfort. You want a life that doesn't require you to get away? Then build one so deeply aligned with your values that every day feels like a declaration of purpose. And it starts now, not tomorrow, not when it's easier, not when the stars align. Now, with the next meal, the next rep, the next email you don't want to write, the next hour of sleep you skip for your dream, the next tiny act of self-respect. Because this is what no one tells you. Self-love isn't bubble baths and affirmations. Self-love is discipline. It's saying, I love myself enough to do what's hard now so I can live with pride later. And if you do this, if you commit with every ounce of who you are, you won't need to escape your life. Because you'll be too busy living it. You'll be too immersed in your mission to crave the illusions others chase. You won't need Friday nights to forget your week, because your Monday mornings carry meaning. You won't chase cheap highs, because your life will be one long, burning flame of purpose. You won't look at other people's lives with envy, because you'll be too engaged building a reality that speaks your name in every detail, every decision, every moment. This is the reward of unbreakable discipline. It doesn't just give you results, it gives you identity. Because when you start showing up consistently, when you begin to follow through, not just when you feel like it, but especially when you don't, something deep inside of you shifts. You stop seeing discipline as punishment. You start seeing it as honor. You're no longer a slave to your impulses. You become the master of your direction. And that's when the world starts to respond differently. People feel your energy before you speak. They sense the clarity in your eyes, the stillness in your presence, not because you shouted for it, but because you earned it, in silence, in solitude, in the sweat they didn't see and the tears you never showed. That's the paradox. The more you say no to what's easy, the more life gives you what's extraordinary. You won't find this power on your phone. You won't scroll your way to purpose. You can't download it, stream it, binge it, or buy it. This kind of life is earned in the furnace, in the rituals repeated with reverence, in the pain embraced with eyes open, in the unshakable decision to no longer betray your potential. You see, discipline is not just about doing things you don't want to do. It's about remembering who you are in a world that keeps trying to make you forget. It's about being the one who walks a different path when everyone else is sleepwalking through their life. It's about looking temptation in the face and saying, not today. I have a vision to serve. I have a future to protect. It's about silence, about dignity, about standards so high, they cut off everything that doesn't serve your destiny. And when that becomes your compass, when your actions align with your highest self, something incredible happens. You no longer crave permission, applause, or understanding, because you're no longer doing it to be liked. You're doing it because this is who you choose to be. Somewhere, right now, someone is sitting in silence, not scrolling, not talking, not chasing approval, just doing the work, just showing up, just moving forward when no one's watching. And that person, that's the one the future belongs to. Because while most people are chasing dopamine, they're chasing dominion over their body, their mind, their life. That person has discovered the truth. The man who conquers himself, who wakes up early not because he has to, but because he refuses to sleep on his greatness, who trains his mind to serve him and not sabotage him, that man becomes unstoppable. He may not look like much in the beginning, quiet, patient, disciplined, but time bows to him. Opportunity seeks him. the world rearranges itself for him. Because consistency is louder than charisma. And truth, when lived, is more powerful than talent. So here's the challenge: not to do this once, not to dabble, not to flirt with greatness like it's a weekend affair, but to marry discipline like it's the only way forward, to wed your purpose like it's oxygen, to become so consistent, so ruthlessly committed, that even your weaknesses start to work for you. Because discipline doesn't just make you strong, it makes you inevitable. People may doubt you. They may mock your routines, laugh at your ambition, shrug at your devotion. Let them. While they doubt, you'll be building. While they scroll, you'll be sculpting. While they quit, you'll be rising. And one day, not today, not tomorrow, but soon they'll look at you and say, "You're lucky." And you'll smile, because you'll know the truth. Luck had nothing to do with it. It was never luck. It was every early morning you didn't snooze, every workout when your muscles screamed, every page you read while others watched television, every dollar you saved, every time you turned down the party, every night you stayed in and worked on your dream while the world begged you to join its distractions. It was the discipline that no one saw, but that you felt. It was the inner agreement you made, the non-negotiable contract with your future that you would not stop, that you would not settle, that you would become the kind of person who doesn't break promises to himself. You see, the real power of discipline is not what it gives you, it's who it makes you. It turns the timid into titans, the distracted into legends. It takes the ordinary and carves the extraordinary into their bones. Because discipline isn't about the grind, it's about honor. It's about respecting your soul enough to stop feeding it junk. It's about raising your standards so high that your very presence becomes a mirror, reflecting back to others the greatness they've forgotten. That's what this is about. Not aesthetics, not status, not applause, but walking into a room and needing no introduction, because your discipline has already spoken. Look at the greats, the ones whose names still echo through time. Da Vinci, obsessed with precision. Beethoven, composing symphonies while going deaf. Nelson Mandela, locked in a cell, but still leading a nation in his mind. They didn't beg for motivation. They trained their character. They didn't need permission. They gave themselves orders. They didn't collapse under chaos. They organized their soul. And that is what we are missing in this age of endless distraction. The inner stillness that comes from living on purpose, the grounded power of a man who knows his direction, who gets up each day and walks toward it without fanfare, without drama, without doubt. He simply moves. And in his movement, the world begins to shift. So, what are you waiting for? Another year to pass? Another excuse to surface? Another wave of inspiration to ride before it fades again? Or are you ready, really ready to decide? Because that's all it takes, one decision, one true decision to stop outsourcing your future to fate, emotion, or convenience. One decision to reclaim your mind, your schedule, your energy, your life. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. About choosing your rituals like a warrior sharpens his sword. About showing up when it's hard. About telling the world, I am not here to fit in. I am here to rise. Because this life, this one wild, brutal, beautiful life, it will ask everything of you. It will ask for your focus, your courage, your patience, and most of all, your discipline. Give it. And one day you'll wake up not in a life you want to escape from, but in a life that feels like it was handcrafted for your soul. You'll walk through your days with peace, because you earned every inch of your power. You'll sleep without regret, because you showed up for your calling. You'll stand tall not because you won, but because you never gave up. This is the power of unbreakable discipline. It doesn't just change your habits, it changes your destiny. So build now, rise now, decide now. And when the world asks who you are, let your discipline answer. Forever forward. No escape necessary. You built this, and you belong here.